All right. Waiting for the attendees to filter in. They are filtering in. There we go. Let's zoom away. Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. My name is Rob Romanowski. I'm the Director of Sales Operations for 3HTI, and today's webinar is titled Basic Windchill Maintenance, which may not be the most exciting webinar topic. However, this is going to be a very important webinar and very informative. So if you're currently using Windchill, you're going to get a lot out of today's webinar. And if you've joined us today because you're interested in learning more about product lifecycle management, you're going to learn a lot today also. So for those of you who may not be familiar with 3HTI, we are a platinum level reseller for PTC solutions. We've been doing this since 2002. We were the first PTC reseller to sell Windchill in the channel. Our principal, Gary Hoffman, had spent 10 years with PTC as one of their top sales reps. He was the first sales rep to ever sell Windchill at PTC. So we have a tremendous history of success in deploying Windchill, setting it up, maintaining Windchill for our customers like Crestron, Reliable Automatic Sprinkler, DLH Bowles, Kinetic. I could go on with more. But the whole idea for this webinar was because of what we do in sharing tips with our customers, because our goal is to help you get better at what you do, help your processes, help you make a better product. So we want you to be able to optimize Windchill and your PLM system to its fullest. So we give tips and tricks to our customers, and what you're going to see today is what we give our customers advice on and how to better maintain and optimize their Windchill system. Now, Austin Baird is going to lead our presentation today. Austin's been with us over 4 years, and actually Austin was a customer with DLH Bowles on the Windchill side of things, and we had such a great relationship with him. We pulled him into 3HTI, and he does a fantastic job in assisting our customers. So Austin, I appreciate you. I know our customers appreciate you, and we're looking forward to this presentation today.
All right. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, as Rob said, my name is Austin Baird. I'm an applications engineer at 3HTI. Been on for around 4 years. I've dabbled in, probably everything that we have, under PTC's umbrella. So Windchill, Creo, ThinWorks, and augmented reality with Vuforia. But again, today we'll be talking about, Windchill system monitoring and maintenance. So basically the TLC that a Windchill system needs in order to remain healthy and operate at peak efficiency. So small agenda. Some of the topics we'll hit on. We'll do a quick overview and talk about administrative concepts, process framework, the monitoring activities that need to be performed, maintenance activities, and some steps and flow and roles and responsibilities. So along with, speaking to best practices along the way. So the challenge is, Windchill is a complex system. It's an enterprise level system and should be treated as such, on an equal level with, say, your ERP system. But it has multiple components and places where data are stored. And it's an ongoing process to maintain the system, and with tasks that should be performed either on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. And of course, if this is neglected for any lengthy period of time, can start to see some pretty serious issues. Up to and including system failures, data loss, of course, lost productivity. So first, we'll take a look at the Windchill architecture and speak to it. So these are the 4 main tiers of the technology stack. Here in the center is the Windchill application tier with the method servers, which are the Java the Java processes that run on the main on the Windchill server. Along with that, the Apache web server. So it's a Java application, but hosted through an Apache web server, and you access it through a web browser. And also the database to store metadata and all the relationships between the countless objects that get created within Windchill. And then your file storage, basically the vaults which contain the actual data designs that get referred to by the database. And depending on the size of the deployment, these can be on the same machine for a very small deployment, or in most cases, we'll have the application tier and the web tier on one machine. File storage can be on that machine as well, but it could be, say, a NAS drive somewhere, and then the database will usually keep separate. This could also include a ThingWorx server, which isn't pictured here, but that would be a separate picture, or a separate server rather. So with that in mind, these are some of the key areas that an administrator would need to think about in terms of monitoring and maintenance. You'll need to monitor hardware, disk, CPU, memory. If your servers are virtualized, managing those properly. The operating system level, Windows errors, stuff like that. Application tier, again, this is the Windchill Java processes. They can be monitored with JMX or JConsole, things like that. Web tier, I mentioned before, the Apache web server. Database tier, Oracle or Microsoft SQL is what's under the covers. As well as Windchill DS, if we're using that for our LDAP, can also be integrated with Microsoft Active Directory for the LDAP. Some administrative tools you might use to manage the system include things like the principal administrator, policy administrator, external storage administrator. These are all located in the site, in like the site utilities of Windchill, if you're an administrator. And also need to be aware of background queues, which manage some of the inner workings of Windchill. All right. So looking at this from this sort of perspective, as far as from planning a Windchill implementation all the way through to rollout and optimization, this is where we are. We've already deployed our system, and now monitoring and maintaining the system becomes very important. And if we look here on the left, typically this would fall under an IT sort of role. So a system administrator or developer, architects, DBAs, things like that, as opposed to business users, which would be your business process experts, such as those in engineering and product development. But again, this is where we are in a sort of IT sort of space with monitoring and maintaining the system once it's deployed. So the idea is, based on SLAs or recommendations from subject matter experts, and all information available to us through the tasks I'll go through in a minute here. We should be able to have a healthy Windchill system with alerts set up, and be able to operate at peak efficiency. And again, these tasks don't all have to be done by one person. It can be done sort of a team or, just spread out. So system admins can, of course, do all the Windchill related tasks, whereas a DBA or network administrator can be, leaned on in that regard. And then business administrators, properly managing all your processes within Windchill. All right, so we're going to look at the monitoring activities, which are recommended from PTC, and there's documentation that this comes from, which we can, link you to at the end maybe. But these are the monitoring activities which need to be done on a Windchill system. And on the right side is the frequency, either daily, weekly, monthly, what have you. But we'll start to go through these. So upon system setup, you would want to configure notification settings. So making sure like all the alerts and things like that are assigned to the correct people. So notifications, aren't being sent into the void or anything like that. And one item here is you have the option to use application performance monitoring software. PTC System Monitor was used in the past, but no longer supported. But any other APM solution can be used to help monitor, any of these activities. So of course, if we do get alerts, we would need to investigate and respond to them, daily or as needed. Can view Windchill logs, Windchill server status page from site utilities, tools within either Oracle or SQL database, administration tools, and Windchill DS control panel. Also, to monitor system health, sorry, I lost my train of thought, but we can use additional tools such as the queue manager, other Java monitoring tools to monitor these processes, and operating system tools. Network health is also very key to monitor. This can be done in a number of ways through simple pinging or other network monitors. Benchmarking system response times. This can be important to plan for your system to have the proper amount of resources to support a certain number of users. But also can be important to continually do this, especially if your company is growing, to make sure that your system will be able to support additional users or something like that. And there are tools available from PTC, like multi-user load generator, single user performance tester. This would focus, the single user performance would focus on like CAD operations, heavy CAD uploads and things like that. But there's tools to test this sort of thing, and it's a good idea to do that. Review known issues. There's subscriptions that you can get on, as issues are discovered. You'll be notified through mailing lists, but monitoring those sorts of channels to be updated on any critical errors or anything like that might be found. And then generate throughput and security audit reports. So basically monitoring how your system is being used, what kind of like how many parts are being checked in on a monthly basis, and there's reporting tools available for all that. So those were the monitoring activities. Next, we'll look at the maintenance activities. And here, backing up the system is, by far the most important item here. Ensuring that you have every piece required in order to, properly do a recovery is very important. So that includes the like a copy of the Windchill file system, uh, LDAP export, database export, and then a copy of the vaults. The vaults being the where the data is actually stored. And all of these need to be in sync. So having a proper plan around this, and there's tools to help automate some of these things. Like you can set up the automatic SQL database exports, but managing all this, creating all these backups, and also making sure that they're properly synced. That's probably the most important thing to talk about here. Again, in case of a disaster, that we have all the pieces necessary in order to make that recovery. And also note that maybe on a quarterly basis, yeah, that's actually down here, rehearse recovery scenarios. So, all right. So database maintenance, there's automated tools and also tools within like SQL Management Studio. Maintenance patches and updates. So these will come out periodically for Windchill. Those are the M releases, stands for maintenance release. So like Windchill 11.1 M20, I believe is what that one's on right now. But and then there's also what are called critical patch sets. Those are only recommended to be applied, when necessary or called for. But if you do want to, remain on the very latest up-to-date version of Windchill that you're on, that can be done. There's tools to check the system configuration. These include the Windchill Diagnostic Utility, or WinDo, Windchill Configuration Assistant. Basically these tools analyze your system and warn you of any issues or updates to configurations that you may need to make. Most of these are monthly as we're going down. Execute Windchill site maintenance utilities. This one can be pretty important, removing unreferenced files. That can help keep the size of the vaults down. That's basically what it does. Any files that are in the vaults that aren't referenced to anything, they'll be removed. Participant administrator, checking for disconnected participants. So if you have a user that leaves the company, there can be what's called a disconnected participant when they're removed from, say, your Active Directory, and maintaining all those and cleaning all that up, very important. And personal cabinet administrator, that also has to do with the disconnected principals. If there's a disconnected principal, there's usually a disconnected personal cabinet, which is a workspace. Defragmenting disk storage, maybe not so applicable anymore with solid state drives, but still something to keep in mind, making sure that the disk remains functioning at a high level. Purging or archiving obsolete data. There's tools within Windchill to do this. But if there are unused designs or things like that within your system, can be properly archived. And I mentioned this earlier, but rehearse recovery scenarios. So with the backups that you're taking, taking a set of those and rehearsing, recovering that, spinning that up on a different server and being able to get back to where you were. And maintaining multiple Windchill environments, so rehosting, stuff like that. This has to do with if you want like test environments or dev environments. Being able to manage that can really help, especially if there's a specific something specific that needs to be tested for, like on a test system before it's deployed to production.
Hey, Austin.
Yes.
I have a question. So with these, maintenance activities, what if they're not being done? What are the symptoms, or what happens to Windchill when, some of these activities are not done?
Absolutely. Yeah. So one example, remove unreferenced files. A lot of these can build up. So that will be like disk space filling up where the vaults are located. I mean, if there's no backups and your server were to get ransomware or something like that, if you have no backup to go back to, I mean, that's pretty horrible. So like on a daily basis, you want to be generating those backups and then backing them up to external storage or offsite or somewhere.
Yeah, if it's not backed up, it's at risk. Data
Absolutely,
can be at risk.
yeah, for sure.
But for some of these other items, like applying the maintenance patches or the maintaining the database statistics, what does Windchill start to do in those instances that keep it from that maybe might be some signs that people could see now to say, oh, this might be something I need to update or take care of?
So in the case of like the maintenance releases, they're fixing bugs and stuff like that. So if you are on like say an F000 or M10 release of Windchill or something like that, there still could be some of those bugs lingering around, which the maintenance release is aimed to resolve. As far as the database, I mean, if database maintenance isn't done and the database starts slowing down, that of course affects performance and retrieving items, searching, things like that.
So you'll notice that it's slower to retrieve items.
Yeah, system performance will start to degrade.
Doesn't work as quickly. You get the hourglass. We're finding it, or the blue circle of death.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool.
So we realized that some customers may not have resources within their own IT departments to either dedicate to this or might not have the bandwidth to manage all this. So one thing that we do offer is service contracts to basically go in and perform all this stuff for you to keep the system running at its peak. And if you guys utilize us for upgrade services or anything like that, I mean, we already have access to the system theoretically, the VPNs and stuff like that. So why not let us, continue to maintain the system? So, it's one less thing to worry about. So that's all I had. Again, these maintenance and monitoring steps are documented, and I could send that document to anyone that might want to read it. But other than that, yeah, that's what I had.
So I'm glad you brought that up about the Windchill, the services that we provide, because here what we can do is we can do one or two things. You can contact us and we can help you get started on maintaining Windchill on your own. We can assist you in doing that and putting a plan together, and we can show you what to do, and you can be on your way. But like Austin said, for some companies that don't have an IT department that can run that, it's kind of like doing your own taxes. Yeah, you can do them, but it's going to take longer and it might be a little bit more of a pain or a headache. So it's easier just to allow us to do them. So, what we do for our customers, a lot of customers, we do this basic Windchill maintenance form on a monthly basis so they don't have to worry about it. So feel free to contact us. You can contact Austin at his email or Vivek at his email listed there, or you could just respond to your webinar invitation and just those responses will come to me. And you can say, hey, Rob, let's set up a call. I want to talk more about this. About Windchill maintenance and basically what, maybe what we need to do. Maybe you don't know what you need to have done, but, we can have a conversation and see what makes sense. Because, at the end of the day, what we want to do is we want to add value and help you operate more optimally. We're not looking to, suck money out of customers or, overcharge for services. That's not what we're in business for. What we want to do is provide a return on any investment and help people get to where they want to be. So feel free to contact us. And with that, Austin, that's going to end today's webinar. So Austin, thank you. I think you did a great job, and I want to thank everybody for attending. Have a great week, and we will be having another webinar real soon. Austin mentioned ransomware. So we're gonna have a webinar regarding how to protect yourself and your PLM, your intellectual property from ransomware. And there's going to be a couple of other Windchill webinars upcoming that we are planning that we will have within the next 6 weeks. So we will hopefully see you there too. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.